So, Hare Krishna again.
Hare Krishna.
Mm. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Her Grace Harita Madhavi Mataji, a creative, Krishna conscious, I would say content creator in the form of rap. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I usually ask devotees to just give a brief introduction of themselves, just let the devotees know who you are and what it is you do.
Mhm. So my full name is Harita Madhavi Devidasi, and currently I am based in Mayapur, India. I did my master's in biomedical engineering in Australia. I was living there for more than 10 years. I've just moved to Mayapur. It's been more than a year and a half. I've moved here. It's always been my eternal home. I have been practicing spirituality for almost 27 years since I was very young, and I got it from my parents, my family, from my mom and dad, and they're both initiated, double initiated, and they've been serving the family of ISKCON for many years. And by their mercy and my Guru Maharaj's mercy, I've been practicing for all these years. I'm also double initiated. I am doing deity services. I do regular kirtan seva. I do also youth preaching, and so on. So this is my history so far.
Totally. That kind of spills over into our first question. You've touched a bit on it, but it reads as follows. How did you first come into contact with Krishna consciousness? You mentioned that through family. And what were the
Mhm,
defining moments that led you to embrace devotional life? Perhaps you could share a bit about your own personal journey into Krishna consciousness.
Sure. So when I came into spirituality, it was around 1999, 2000. So it was quite early, because my mom first was looking for a guru, and she somehow met my Gurudev, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, and she was very much attracted into the movement, and she was very much attracted the fact that many other movements they offer a lot of false hopes in terms of having spiritual questions answered. So she felt unfulfilled, dissatisfied with their replies. So she wanted something that's very realistic, and that's how she got into Krishna conscious here. And this was in the Middle East. And when she came in, within I think a week, she stopped eating onion garlic. She gave up on non-vegetarian, and she turned into a vegetarian. She turned into Prashadarian. She wanted to take initiation. She would chant 32 rounds and much more. So she was basically the spiritual strength, the spiritual pillar. And through her, I met devotees. I met my Gurudev. And when I first met him, I was like, oh, wow, um, who's this foreign person who's trying to like sing Krishna bhajan and all that. It felt a little weird for me. But then my parents explained this is your guru and you need to know how to respect him. He's this, he's that. So I understood the importance of spirituality from there. So that was like the seed of my spiritual life that started from there. And over the years, I had association of devotees through bhakti rikshas and sadhu sangha and temple and so on so on. And I did lose a bit of myself when I reached my teenage years. I think it's kind of natural that when we go through that phase, we get influenced by a lot of friends, by peer pressure, and so on, by being busy with your student life and so on. And when I reached to my first year of uni in my bachelor's in South India, I understood that I'm missing something in life, that I have been given this prized possession. I haven't valued it because just few years before that period is when my Guru Maharaj had a stroke and he got paralyzed and he was wheelchair bound. And I didn't realize how important it is to take spiritual life seriously then. Even though I had association of Guru and everyone, I didn't go for initiation or anything. I just made it a part of my life. And when I started being a part of ISKCON Youth Forum, Girls Youth Forum in South India in Chennai, I met a few girls. Like this particular incident, especially, really changed my mind. And one time, our counselor she arranged a meeting of all the girls with Gurudev, or who's new, who's like progressing in their spiritual life. She introduced each one of them. And one of the girls, she met my Gurudev and she said, Gurudev, my father drinks a lot and he beats us. He like really like does a lot of abuse and a lot of harassment in the house. I don't know how to do my spiritual life. So what I do is I go to the bathroom, I lock the door, I chant my 16 rounds in the bathroom saying I'm taking a bath. And that's how she's practicing her spiritual life. And her friend came in and she said, even my family is against it. So what I tell them is I'm going to the disco or the bar, I'm going to the club and having fun with my friends, and then I come to the temple. And I was so shocked. I was like, whoa. We usually say we're going to the temple and then we end up going clubbing with friends, but she's doing the opposite. And looking at that, it made me realize how fortunate I am that I've got everything in my hand. I'm just not utilizing, I'm not understanding the value of the diamond that I've got. So it clicked my head, and I immediately started taking my spiritual life seriously. I was like, no, it's about time. I'm old enough to understand what's good and what's bad and what is really necessary in my life. So it turned that incident turned my life completely. And immediately within a year, I took my shelter. And then a year after that, I took my initiation. I started doing, Bhakti Shastri and so on, so on. So, like, my spiritual life kicked off from there, from seeing my own age group women or other, like friends of mine feeling happy to practice spirituality rather than taking it as a pressure.
Mm. Well, it sounds like quite a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Middle East. Is that where your mom was working or where you're originally from?
I'm originally from South India. I'm from Chennai.
Oh,
And
okay.
we moved to the Middle East because my dad was working over there and my mom was also working there. And I did all my schooling there. And from there, again, I did my bachelor's in Chennai for 4 years. And then I moved to Australia.
Oh, okay, cool. And then when did you take initiation formally?
I took initiation in the year 2015, around this period, around Jan 15. And I took my second initiation around 2022, 2023. And that was also just during, I think, right after COVID. So,
Mhm. So you've just completed, you could say, your 11th orbit around the
yes.
sun. Yeah. Um, our second question, you said you were shy about rapping from your teenage years. What helped you
Mhm.
move from hesitation to confidently offering rap as a form of devotional service? Before that, I must confess, I'm a rapper too.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I distinctly remember the moment I discovered hip hop and rap music, right? So I'd like to take you back to that moment. What was it like? What did you hear?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't want anyone to judge me now. So I first listened when I was in 10th grade. I listened to Akon, and
Oh.
it's not really a good. I mean, I'm so oblivious to the lyrics. I don't want to describe the music again.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was so sexualized.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Akon came
yeah, and
around
then
doing a
yeah,
crazy
Akon
time
was
song.
like it was like the thing in the in the like 2000s and the 2010s, that period. So I started listening to Akon. I would download it to my MP3 player, and I would just always keep vibing to his music, and I would do rap. And everyone in my class would be like, "Oh my God, she's rapping, and she's Indian. She's a girl, but then she's rapping, and then she's doing it like very westernized." And I really liked it. I kind of vibed with it because I'm a very like I look very homely, but then I could say like very westernized vibing kind of person. So I started listening to that, and again, not to be judgmental, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Chris Brown.
Mhm.
So honestly saying Eminem, I would listen to all of their music and I felt like a lot of vibes coming out of it. And people would really enjoy it. Like they could feel that high energy. Like when someone has a lot of high energy, they want to like connect to music to that level. and rap and hip hop used to be the thing. And back in my bachelor's, no one expected, but I would be a hip hop dancer. I was like a proper hip hop dancer in my college. It was like my hobby. I did learn classical as well. I have learned classical Bharatanatyam. I have learned classical singing and Carnatic, they say South Indian Carnatic singing and all that. But at the same time, I'm like best of both worlds. I try to make it the best of both worlds. So I was into all that. And over the few years, I didn't really showcase my skills or talent outside because I thought people get very judgmental. Oh, she's a con, she's this, she's spiritual, but why is she interested in that kind of music? So I thought it's true because those lyrics that they have in the songs, it's very sexualized. I feel uncomfortable to try and sing it out loud in front of families or in front of everyone. It's like I like the music, but I don't like what they say. So how do I kind of connect this to myself? And that's when I started thinking over, especially during COVID, when people started discovering their own skills. I thought there should be something in me that is sleeping inside, but it's not really like showcased out. So I thought, okay, I love rapping. Let's try to like fuse spirituality in this. And I've seen like Bali Rico and a few others within spirituality to do rapping, yeah. So I thought, okay, let me try my own version as well. So when I started doing my own version, it was very raw, very like not really like to the full on bars vibe. And I know some of my friends from Melbourne, they encouraged me. They're like, we know the Harita, you can go like full on. You look like you're a bit shy when you're singing. So they gave me feedback and they encouraged me, they supported me. And then I actually made like a proper rap song. And seeing that, one of the Australian singers, Adrian Eagle, he's like really good brother of mine and because I used to do a lot of Western preaching over there, youth preaching, and that's how we met each other. And in the group, like the guy who organizes it, the devotee Nanda, he introduced me to Adrian, and Adrian was like, "We should do this music. Like, we should take this out to the stage." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how devotees are going to receive it." Then we had the Rath Yatra program, the yearly one that happens every year in February over there. Is like summer period, nice. So it was Rath Yatra stage program, and they were like, okay, let's give it a go. I would be there to support you. Actually, he has this whole team because he's quite famous. Even Rihanna tweeted on his songs, and he's well known over there. He just doesn't come up on stage for anyone. But he was so supportive for me, and he was like, "It's your first time. I'm going to come and I'm going to help you out." So that's where you would have seen on my Insta or Facebook the first video I did with him. And he came up and he supported me. We did rehearsals, and it was a big success. Like everyone was shocked. I was wearing sari and
Mhm.
doing all that, and they were like, "What is going on?" And Jagannath is sitting in his tent and staring at me.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, and I saw that a lot of young people took it very happily because this is something that they could vibe with. They don't need to, they felt like, okay, we don't need to listen to those crazy songs anymore. We have something that we can actually connect with, which is core of spirituality. And at the same time, it's like vibing to the high energy.
That's really cool. I must say, I like how you command the stage. You have a very heavy presence when you're there. Like you are here, you can't be ignored, particularly in full devotional attire. That's
Mm,
that's in the lingo really hardcore.
yeah.
Super hardcore. Our third question, you've shared that spiritual rap shows we don't need material music to feel the vibe. How do you translate Krishna-centered philosophy into rap in a way that remains authentic and devotional?
Well, the main thing I think I did was first start off with mantras and then incorporate the English verses that I've written by myself. And it was about like, you think this material world is eternal, super sweet, but without Krishna, did you know your life is incomplete? So
Mm,
I try to make it as simple as possible so people could understand the whole motive behind this whole rap. It's like to remind them what they've lost, to help them reconnect back to their roots.
mm,
So that was the whole point of the English version of the rap. And when I did this performance at Geeta Mela that recently went viral, everyone vibed with the Sanskrit version of it because the broader Indian crowd was able to connect to that. They've had more, what to say, familiarity with it rather than the English version. And that's why they found it like really vibing and they had goosebumps. Someone was like, wow, this is like really cool. So they could, I guess, understand that more, that we are trying to connect to the dharmic side of it, the traditional side of it. So when I did the rap, I made sure that I'm not losing. It's like when people think that this is actually going to disrespect the mantra or disrespect the power of the mantra, but it's actually not. It's whichever way you recite it. It's like if I'm gonna call your name in a very soft way or a rough way, I'm still calling your name. I'm still calling out to you. You know that I'm calling out to you. So music is just a form of calling out to Krishna. It could be any form of music. Eventually, it's like George Harrison and Beatles and a lot more others who made music in different forms, and they just wanted people to connect to Krishna and connect in their way, in which they can vibe with, in which they could connect with. And that helped in this rap because I was making sure I don't disrespect the holy name. I don't disrespect Bhagavad Gita or Krishna or Arjuna or anyone for that matter. But at the same time, recite or feel the vibration because if I don't feel it, the crowd can't. So I would completely feel the vibration in my heart, call out to Krishna and be like, Krishna, I'm putting you out there to the people, to the audience. And it's up to you now to connect to them, to make them feel your presence in their heart as Paramatma. So that's how I did the rap. That was my intention. So I'm hoping that that did keep the authenticity within and not spoil anything else from there.
Uh, that's very powerful. It kind of brings you to an ongoing kind of conversation that also extends to how people say religion is evil, you know? But I'm just thinking of hip hop is a tool. It's a carrier of consciousness, if you think about it, rap music. And
Yeah.
referring back to the secular music you were listening to, those personalities were displaying their consciousness. They were sharing where
Mm,
their minds are, where their focal, um, whatever point of focus is. So I find it a bit incomplete to think that the music itself is a problem.
mm,
It's almost like it's a carrier and a display of where the consciousness of the youth is today as a youth culture that has taken over the world, mind you. It's like it's gone
yeah.
far and wide. And in the many versions of the music that we've heard, going back to the first song that had me thinking about my choices, that was De La Soul, Stakes is High,
Mm,
and the conscious imagery and the conscious messages they were sharing in that took me back to where hip hop came from as a revolutionary tool to begin with. And there
mm,
is no other revolution besides the spiritual reality, right? The revolution is spiritual. So I think if you're carrying Krishna conscious messages as purely and as intentionally as you're saying you're doing, it's super powerful. It takes it to a whole other level. Um, Now going back again to the secular weaponized version of rap and how it's really attacking people's minds, and the misrepresentation of women as has been partisan or part of the whole exercise since the 90s, where they say that was the golden age of hip hop. But rap culture has often been shaped by hypersexualized imagery of women. While you appear on stage in full devotional attire, how conscious is that contrast, and what do you hope it communicates?
Well, my main hope is that you don't need to lose your self identity to represent who you are. and your message to the world. Like you could be your complete self and at the same time give your message in the most purest form possible. Because people think that we need to meet the expectation of the society, of the world, to showcase or put forth a message that people can resonate with. It's just that in that process, you lose yourself. You become someone else. Like I've had people come and tell me, you don't need to wear this attire. You could have worn something that's more like cool, like cap and a hoodie and this and that. Honestly, that day when I wore a hoodie, it was cold. It was freezing in Mayapur. That's why I wore a hoodie on top of my sari. Otherwise, the previous ones that I've done in Melbourne, I haven't worn any hoodies, just direct sari and tilak. It's just who I am. I don't need to become a hypersexualized woman, and I can be who I am, and I still be able to represent ISKCON. I'd be still be able to represent Srila Prabhupada and be able to put the message out there in a very respectful, in a very um, like spiritual manner. And this is who we are. This is my attire. This is like it's like when a soldier wears his war attire. People know he's a soldier, and that's his that's his attire. Like when someone is going to become the judge of a court, he wears the coat and he goes, and people automatically raise their heads and they respect him. So when I'm going to be a spiritual rapper, this is my attire. This is how I represent the spiritual world. That even if there's a person who's going to a church and if a nun raps, they know, oh, she's a nun, but she's rapping. Not that that would be the best possible scenario, but then it's like it's just to showcase that you don't need to lose who you are to become someone who you're not. It's just, it's just a external thing, nothing to do with eyes. And it's also to break the fact that you don't judge a book by its cover. There's a lot more to someone than just what you can see.
And you're like a jack in the box, like for real, like just looking at your feed, very homely, like I was saying, very devotional, and then
Mhm.
boom, here comes a rap. That's really cool. That's super
Yeah.
cool. Actually, I couldn't help but think about prayers of Queen Kunti, and
Mhm.
very deep, very heavy, very internal. And they're poetic, and rap is nothing but rhythm and poetry.
Mhm.
So that's what you're doing. Nudge nudge wink wink, I'd like to hear you do something with prayers of Queen Kunti. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sure, why not?
that's really cool. And Prabhupada, says devotees are naturally poetic.
Hmm.
And these songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, amazing, amazing bars. you know yeah. um Our fifth question: many people wouldn't expect a traditionally dressed Mataji to rap. How has the element of surprise shaped audience reactions or opened doors for preaching?
Well, at the very start, when I did in Australia, the crowd was wild, crazy. They loved it because obviously it's something new for them. And even the local Australians, when they would walk by, they'd be like, a woman in a sari rapping, wow. It was something very new for them, very attractive, and they received it really well. But then the same contrast when I moved to India and then I did it here at the very start, everyone was very judgmental. They were like, oh, like there were quite a few supporters, but then there were the other side who was like finding it cringe and they thought, oh, she should stop rapping. And let me be honest, even my dad was against it. Even now, he's not too supportive. He's like, oh, women in our movement shouldn't be rapping. They should be just sitting in the house, cooking for husband, chanting Hare Krishna, and then that's how it is. But then on the other side, the same women are being book distributors, they're being preachers, they're traveling Sankirtaniyas, they're being dated pujarinis now. They're doing a lot more achieving than Prabhus in a lot more different ways. So why
Mm.
not? a spiritual rapper? Why not a female spiritual rapper wearing a sari? It's just breaking the monotony and trying to show that this is also preaching. This is also a way to attract the younger generation. And I had to stay so self confident and faithful in myself and believe in myself that what I'm doing is not wrong and my intent is correct. If the right audience catches that, that's what I want. So I did not give up on myself. I really thought I would because not everyone took it very well. And later, for the second time when I did it, this year's Gita Mela, everyone did like a lot more crowd took it very nicely because I think over here and over a lot of Insta viral videos and stuff, people have changed their mindset to accept new things, to accept new trends, new beginnings. And that's how I guess I got a lot of support and encouragement from wider community and also from most of the outside audience from around the world.
I also think what you're doing is this is something that's been on my mind for the longest time. You're creating space for people who would rather not go to the club and
Yeah, that's true.
explore, explore conscious hip hop.
Hmm.
Yeah. A prescriptive suggestion, listen to Stakes is High by De La Soul. I think they were having a spiritual awakening. Another
Hmm.
uh, amazing legacy-wise devotee, Charu Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple. He's a rapper
Hmm.
out in Spanish
Oh, wow.
folk. Yeah, you should
Hmm.
really, really beautiful Krishna conscious lyrics.
Hmm.
Amazing stuff. Um, okay, let that thought go. It's in bits and pieces now. Um, Who have been your key influences? I know you mentioned Akon and Nicki Minaj and everybody else, but have been your key influences and have you faced resistance from either devotional circles or broader hip hop world for choosing, or the broader hip hop world for choosing this path? You touched a bit on the Camp B, where there's been resistance, you being a Mataji and
Hmm.
etc. I don't know if you'd like to elaborate on that, or we could move on to our next question.
Um, yeah, I mean, like in that sense, I think I've already mentioned in terms of influences, I think mainly I would say for rap, um, before I even thought of doing rap, I was looking at um, the Hare Krishna rap. I forgot who did that. I forgot that Prabhu's name. He's from UK.
Um, what's his name again? Jake Emlyn.
Yes, him.
Yes,
I
yeah.
saw him during COVID, and I kind of, because until then I didn't think of doing this rapping thing, right? I got a
Mm.
bit inspired seeing his video, and I thought, wow, this is so cool. How come I never did something like that? So I started thinking, okay, maybe I should do some fusion, and that's how it started. That's how I started making my own fusion raps. So he was, I would say, like a little bit of my inspiration and the inspiration to come on stage was Adrian. He was my other inspiration. That was in Australia. And to come here in Mayapur was Vishnu Prabhu. He's also from African background, you might know. And he's wonderful Kirtaniya. So I wasn't thinking about doing rap and stuff over here, but we were doing rock kirtan, which we usually do in Gita Mela. And Prabhu invited me to do the rap. He was like, "You should do it." I'm like, "Prabhu, I don't know about doing it in India." He's like, "No, it's okay. You should do it." And he was very encouraging. And when I did it, that's how the whole journey started. Like people started going crazy. They took the video and went viral, and it started getting lots of millions of views. And in the start, I had these people from outside, like Gaudiya Maths and other places, who didn't understand, again, the intent of me, why I'm doing it, for whom, and for what. And they took it quite personally, I guess. And they were like, oh, you shouldn't do this. The main thing is because I'm a Mataji. And there are Prabhus who do it, but they're not against it. They're just against the fact that I'm a Mataji. And it took them time, I guess, to understand. And about last year, or sorry, this year, I guess they had developed a little bit more of understanding of the intent behind it. And I guess I'm praying also to Nrsimhadev and to all of my devotee friends and normal audiences outside, that they do keep giving that support because it's for a good cause. And we want a lot of youth who are just lost out there in their own world to understand spirituality is the core of their life.
Um, I know this is like it's corny. It's almost like part of the trope, the hip hop cliche or the trope. Hip hop saved my life. It brought me to Krishna consciousness. It did, for real. Like the
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, I
music I was
understand.
listening to, it was like
Hmm.
spiritual seekers, some people who were
Hmm.
discussing concepts that they didn't truly understand, and then you open the Bhagavad Gita, oh, this is what this guy was talking about.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, and also coming from poetry circles and open mic circles, how different is it to standing up at the podium and reading a poem, a Krishna conscious
Yeah.
poem? Is it because there's
Mm.
some boom, boom, boom and you're moving up and down the stage? You know, I really don't get it. Actually, going back to you saying you're classically trained, one of my creative visions has always been to see Bharatanatyam or classical Indian dance paired with some real cool hip hop rap in an urban scape. You know, I've always thought that would be so cool to see. But anyway,
That's like
moving
Michael
on.
Jackson trying to bring that fusion in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Moving on to our last question. Uh, Vision going forward. Looking ahead, how do you hope devotional rap will serve Krishna and speak to younger generations seeking meaning and spiritual identity?
Well, this is just a kickstart for especially anyone who's listening to it, because I have had a lot of parents who come to me and be like, my son's always stuck on his phone watching Insta Reels and Facebook and getting inspiration from all these crazy people out there. They, when they see this rap, they feel so inspired, they feel so good that they don't need to listen to those kind of music. They have something that actually fulfills their heart and also matches the energy. So I had especially one Mataji who came to me. She said, I forwarded this video of yours to my son, and he almost listens to it every day. And I have seen a lot of people comment, they're like, we want this on Spotify. We want to listen to it on a daily basis. We want to, vibe to this when we go to work or when we go to uni. And 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 even some of them commented, I mean, if this is how this spirituality is, I might even consider go to the temple. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, that is exactly what I wanted. And there were one or two other youth females who wrote like, oh, I want to grow up to become like her someday.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know how good I am spiritually, but then the fact that they want to take it, the core of it is to take spirituality, right? The fact that they understand that they need to go to a temple, open the Bhagavad Gita, start reading it, start understanding the whole meaning of it, and they start listening to Hare Krishna Mahamantra and be like, whoa, this is so easy to recite. Like, what is it? Where is it coming from? Why we need to start chanting this? What's the power of this mantra? Why am I feeling something happening inside my heart? So they start exploring it more, and once they start exploring it more, that's it. Krishna just holds on to them, and Prabhupada holds on to them even tighter and pulls them into the movement, makes them understand that this is their goal of life, to attain perfection, to attain real happiness, to attain that real love that they've been hankering for all of their life. Because this generation is no different from the hippie generation before. They've been just wanting that peace, they've been just wanting that love, and they don't know where to find it, and they just draining their energy in all the wrong places. So this is like a reminder to them through social media that guys, wake up. It's like Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole, Kota Nidra Javo Maya Pisa Chira Kole. So get up, wake up from your sleep. You've been sleeping for so many lifetimes, for so many years. This is your real identity. So this should be able to connect to that message and be able to pull them from where they are to who they want to become in future.
Okay. Um, so you mentioned Spotify. Have you recorded anything and put it out there?
No, I have had people reach out to me to collab and to make music. So I'm in the process of making. I'm hoping to release in, let's say, in some time. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I am definitely in the process of making a track and releasing it.
You're in Mayapur, right?
Yes,
Do you know His Grace Gauranga Simha Prabhu there?
yes, I do.
He's a rapper too. He's got some
Yeah, yeah,
hard
I've heard his raps,
rap.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you mind dropping a few hints who you're collaborating with?
Um, I've I'm not doing it with him. Unfortunately, he's not here. But it's not like in the devotee community. It's just some production companies. They've reached out from different places like Mumbai and Delhi and so on.
Mm.
So I'm doing it with them, and I'm not actually having another singer sing with me. It's just myself. It's just they would be giving the music and so on, and I'll be
Mm.
producing the tracks. And they want to do quite a few, and I have been asked to perform rock concerts, like a proper performance, and it hasn't been confirmed yet. They have asked in Bangalore, they've asked in Delhi and different places. And I hope to keep receiving this kind of support. I hope to have a lot of people call me, because if I'm going to go and perform somewhere, it's definitely going to be kirtan and bhajan, and it's to connect them. It's something like what Janavi Harrison or Radhika Das have been doing, but in my
Yeah.
version. That's all.
Speaking towards that kind of connectedness and collaborative togetherness, I've been dreaming and praying about something that brings Krishna conscious rappers together in one place.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yes.
And a space where you could host listening sessions, break down concepts, share ideas, share music. I know I haven't been recording for a while. I've been just
Mm-hmm.
focusing on making beats, which is what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
which is why my mind was all over the place. I was just pressing here and making beats. And there's another devotee in Australia. He went by the name Dancing Daniel. Now he's Doyle Goranga Prabhu. He just recently took initiation.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing rapper as well.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna Das Perez. He also recently
Mm-hmm.
took initiation. He goes by Slot One the Servant. Amazing rapper. So there's just all these amazing people in the Krishna conscious community around the world, and everybody's just in their own pocket, bouncing
Mm-hmm.
around like excited molecules. And I can't wait to see what that explosion is going to be like when we go atomic. And
Yeah, we should have like a rap event where we just, bring in all the rappers of ISKCON from all over the world, and
yeah,
we have a rap mela, and we can all
yeah,
just collaborate and we can all just sing together. That would be so, and mix it with like rock kirtan and stuff. That would be amazing, because bhajan
yeah,
clubbing is like a thing now. It's like what Gen Z want. They don't want to go to a normal club. It
yeah, I
doesn't
saw
fulfill
that.
their heart. So
Yeah.
we could do something like this. Maybe you can plan the event.
That's really cool, yeah. And maybe have it like the Red Bull I don't know if they still do that. The where they invite artists to come and perform, and then they have a discussion around the work and all of that, and that discussion can be a class. Have book
Yeah.
distribution, the works. I mean, Prabhupada gave us everything. We just have to be creative and
Hmm.
meet your own folk. My Guru Maharaj used to like saying, find your own ilk and be
Yeah.
Krishna conscious.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So if devotees would like to get in contact with you, or maybe even at some point access your work, how can they go about doing so?
They definitely could go through my Instagram profile, which goes by my same name, Harita Madhavi Devidasi. And through there, I'm quite active in social media. So either through Instagram or Facebook, they could reach out to me, and then we can go from there if they want to work with me further or just get in touch.
Jai. Thank you very much for coming online and sharing this wonderful journey with me. I'm so excited. I can't even contain myself. To,
Thank you so
I
much
get
for
it.
inviting me as well. It was wonderful having this conversation with you, to know from your side as well that you are also a rapper, and to get the support, especially from our community. It's like a huge, huge thing for me. So thank you so much for that.
Hare Krishna. I also like the fact that you rap with your initiated name. I wanted to change mine. I have like a long, crazy name.
Yeah.
It's like Archangel hands aloof read their palms, introducing Dimension the Third. And I just wanted to be Atma. And then there's another amazing Krishna conscious rapper who goes by the name Atma. So I couldn't use that. So yeah,
Hmm.
I need to figure it out. Maybe just go with Atma
Now,
Tattva
I
instead.
also been asked about my rapper name, and I'm like, I'm not changing it. It's just too complicated.
It's so
And
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Don't change it. I think it's really cool.
Even today, when
Yeah.
I was being interviewed by one of the local news channels in India,
Mhm.
was it Aaj Tak or Good News Today? They've interviewed me, and what's funny is they changed my initiated name. They gave me a kind of like a new initiated name. It went from Harita Madhavi to Harita Mahadevi, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
Whoa. That's
I'm
a,
like, okay, let's go. At least my first name is kept intact. I'm happy with that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they even go, they even call me by like Auntie G. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead. As long
Yeah,
as you guys vibe with the actual rap, which is related to Krishna, I don't care what you guys call me. I'm fine with it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you again. I'll just end our recording here.
Mhm.
Mm.